Hello friends, welcome back. In this video, we are going to create our first style component. So the first component which we are going to create is button component. First, we will create component folder inside our source folder. So let's create components folder. And inside components folder, we will create one more folder with the name common. And inside common folder, I will create a new file with the name button.js. And now let's go to their official website and we need to go to documentation, and here we need to go to API reference, and let's see their example. So the first step is to import style from style component. So once we have imported style component, then we have to create a component that we have already created, which is button.js. In this example, they have created a const with the name button. Once created this variable, we have to write something like this: style dot, and after dot we have multiple options. If we want to create HTML element, then we have to write the name of that particular element. In this example, they have used button, but if we want to use div, we can write div. So instead of button, we can write div. We can even create style component or React component. There is no restriction on HTML element only, which we will see in the coming up lectures. But for now, we will see the basic syntax. So after button element, we have to give backtick key. So this style object, which we are getting from style component, we can write CSS property in that, which relate to valid HTML5 element. And this backtick key here are called tagged template literals. So let's see what are tag template literals. For that, we need to go to Visual Studio Code, and here we need to write import style from style component. And then we need to create a const, and we will name it as button, which is equal to style dot, and we need to write HTML element. So we will go with button as shown in the example here. Okay. And after that, we need to give backtick key. So these backtick key are also called as tag template literals. So this is the way to call a function which accepts some interpolated data inside this backtick key. Let me explain you in simple way. Any helper which we take from style component. For example, we took a button. So this function accept any valid CSS as a string, and we can interpolate it as well. Let's see with an example. Let's add color to this button. So color, the property is color and the value will be white. So for white, I will give FFF. And then we will add background color. So background color, which is equal to blue. Let's save this. And here we can do some string interpolation, something like this. We can give dollar and then we can give JavaScript expression, and we can create a different variant of button programmatically. But for now, we will not use it, and let's keep it blue. Now let's add some more styles. So I'll add border radius, which will be 5px, box shadow, let's save this. Now you might have noticed we have not imported React here because we are not using any JSX in this button component. We are only exporting this style component. So here we need to write export default button. Let's save this. And now we need to go to app.js, and here we need to import. And as this is a default export, so we don't require curly braces. Okay, we can directly write button from dot slash button, sorry, component slash common slash button. Now let's render this button component here. So here I will write button, and here inside this button I will write I am blue button. Let's save this. Now let's go to the browser and check. So here we don't need to give quotation. That is the reason it is not showing blue. So let's save this and now let's go to the browser. So as you can see, we have blue button here. Now let's go to Visual Studio Code. And you might be thinking, what happens if we create one more button? Do we get a conflict with the name? So in button.js, let's copy the entire code and let's paste it here. And we need to change the variable name because we can't keep same variable name. So here I will write button new. And this HTML element we can keep it as button. And here instead of background color blue, we will give red. So now we have two buttons. One is blue color button and one is red color button. Okay. Now here we need to remove this export default button because we have two buttons now. So we can give export here in front of the variable. So export. Now let's save this and now let's go to app.js and here now we need to give curly braces and first one is button and second one is button new. And here we need to write button new I am red button. Let's save this and now let's go to the browser. So now as you can see we have two buttons. The first button is blue color button and the second button is red color button. You might have noticed that there is no conflict. So we will see the reason for this. So let's right click, inspect, and we need to click on this arrow and we need to click on the button. So as you can see, we have unique class names for both the buttons. Okay. So this is the class name for blue button and this is the class name for red button. So both are unique and these class names are being generated by style component. So a unique class name is added to both this button and this is created by style component. So whatever style you write for that particular component, okay, so whatever style you write for that particular component, that can be used anywhere and it will never override because that particular component will contain that unique class name. So now we need to create some more component. So inside common, we will create, so inside this common folder, we will create a new file with the name index.js. And now we need to go to button.js and here we need to remove export and here we need to write export and in curly braces we need to give both the variables name button and button new. Let's save this and now we need to go to index.js and here we need to write export and then we need to give asterisk. Asterisk means all, so export all from dot slash button. Let's save this and now we need to go to app.js and here everything is okay but we need to remove button because we have created index.js. So we need to give this path till common. And if I save this and if I go to the browser, nothing changes, everything is working fine. Let me close this. The reason for creating an index file is that let's say if I want to create one more style component. So if I create one more style component, for example, button new one. So here I can export button new one and let's save this and in index I don't need to write anything. So then we need to go to app.js and here we need to import button new one and then we can render it here. So in this way we can create multiple components and then we can export it here and then we can import wherever we want. So I'm removing this, I don't require it, is just to show you why I created a new file index.js. Okay. So this is it for this video and I will see you in the next video.